Welcome to another edition of Breaking News brought to you by Source Selection Soundbites. Today we will discuss the case of Bridges System Integration, LLC or BSI, decided by the General Accountability Office or GAO. In this case, the General Services Administration or GSA issued a refresh to the solicitation for Schedule Number 58 of the Federal Supply Schedule or FSS, which is a standing solicitation for the provision of professional audio, video, telemetry, tracking, recording, reproducing, and signal data solutions. The Schedule 58 solicitation contained requirements for all offerers of products seeking GSA FSS contracts and cautions that any failure to comply with the requirements will result in rejection of the offer. Offerers were required to submit manufacturers' part numbers and comply with the Trade Agreements Act of 1979. BSI submitted a proposal, but did not describe any particular products and did not include any price lists, manufacturers' letters of supply, or country of origin for any products that the protester intended to furnish. Instead, the proposal stated that BSI bases its sales on market prices, does not use commercial price lists, and with respect to the requirement for letters of supply from dealers and suppliers, BSI asserted that the requirement is not applicable to the solutions and services offered. After reading BSI's proposal, the GSA reached out to them and informed them their proposal would be rejected as non-compliant if the required information was not submitted. BSI sought an extension and then filed a protest. BSI argued that the RFP's requirement that vendors identify component products from specific manufacturers is inconsistent with customary commercial practice and, therefore, violates the terms of FAR Part 12. The agency disagreed with BSI's view and stated these requirements were in the solicitation. Moreover, the agency asserted its elimination of BSI's proposals was reasonable as it failed to meet a material requirement of the solicitation. En route to finding against the contractor, the GAO noted that procurements involving the acquisition of commercial products and services requires that contracts shall, to the maximum extent practicable, include only clauses determined to be consistent with customary commercial practice, because FAR 12 restricts the usage of additional FAR clauses, or terms and conditions beyond those set forth in FAR Clause 52.212-4 and FAR Clause 52.212-5. However, GAO also noted that FAR Clause 52.212-4, Section Q, requires a contractor under a commercial product or service contract to comply with all applicable federal, state, and local laws, executive orders, rules, and regulations applicable to its performance under the contract. Given this contract clause, and the fact that all products offered under GSA schedule contracts must comply with the TAA via determining the origin of each line item in an offer, the challenged requirements are reasonably related to ensuring compliance with mandatory statutory requirements. The protest was denied on this basis. Now, let's address a few of the lessons learned from this protest. They include: 1. Generally, agencies should avoid including terms and conditions in commercial contracts that violate customary commercial practice. 2. This general rule to only include clauses or requirements consistent with customary commercial practice shall be observed to the maximum extent practicable, but is not absolute. And 3. Notwithstanding the aforementioned general rule, the 52.212-4 subsection Q requires a contractor under a commercial contract to comply with all applicable federal, state, and local laws, executive orders, rules, and regulations. In this episode of Source Selection Soundbites, we discussed the BSI case and the real implications of 52.212-4Q. This concludes today's Source Selection Soundbite. If this video was helpful, hit the like and subscribe button to ensure you don't miss any new material. If you want more details on the subject, they are available on the Source Selection Answer app. It contains lectures, quizzes, court cases, sample documents, and more material that allows practitioners to quickly obtain actionable knowledge. Thanks for watching. See you next time.